Where was this album when we were on a hoe trip? Like, I really could have used it.
She had a standing fan in her room. That's not an industry plant.
Not even up and coming. She has an Emmy. Like, she's here.
This album, though so good, is a little bit more for dry humping than it is for fucking.
You simply have a microphone and, I don't know, a sound guy, and hers already, like, on her way.
When I say yes, you say chef.
We are in a golden age of nepo babies and industry plans, and they're kind of at each other's throats right now.
You said time to get to work. Time to start standing, actually.
I just want to dance. I just want to hear that. Like, I just want to be in a club. I want to be sweating. I want to be, like, whipping my hair around. That's my favorite.
And it is upsetting me and my homegirl. Because damn, if we can't listen to Normani, where the hell could we go? Hunter.
Oh, gosh.
I think the hardest thing a woman can do is be gay.
The hardest thing you can do is be gay.
The hardest thing I can do, yeah, like, why would I choose this? I'm suffering.
Why don't you tell people where you are? It's like literally July 1st and you are finally at home, finally inside, have seen your bed for the first time.
No. Someone was literally plotting on me because getting COVID the last day of Pride and being locked down is honestly historic, maybe homophobic, or maybe for my best interest to finally like sit the fuck down.
No, someone was plotting to give you COVID because they said you need to get back in this house. Like, you've been way too outside this whole month. I literally, from when you texted one of our friends, like, I can't see you until July. It's Pride Month. Now finally, now you're inside.
Our straight friend was like, let's get dinner. I was like, bitch, are you crazy? I was like, Have you seen my close friends? Have you seen what's going on? Too much.
Well, first, how are you feeling?
I'm okay for being a COVID cutie pie. I'm doing all right. But I will say, part of me is actually maybe grateful, maybe thankful for a little mild COVID case, just because it's been the longest month of my entire life. I don't know why for gay people, Pride is for straight people. Let's get that out the way. Straight people love Pride. They're like rainbow, like ally. It's like, meanwhile, cut to all the gay people who are like in the club being like, not another bump of ketamine. Like, here we go. Like,
so crazy. I feel called out because I posted a Remy with a rainbow plush toy and she said, Happy Pride. And you said, stop.
And did I not prove my point exactly? You said the gays are going to love this.
Everyone at Knockdown Center, like, actually getting knocked down. I feel like I've seen so many Pride injuries, and I've just been home the whole time.
checking my close friends, being like, there she goes again. This weekend was particularly diabolical. I hosted 2 queer lesbian parties. Hosting 2 parties in one weekend, hosting a party in general is something that's actually not in my nature because I love the excuse. I need the option to go home. I need the option to leave whenever I feel like it or not show up at all. I need the option to bail. So hosting kind of takes that privilege away from me.
Hosting a party is not what Project X made it seem like it would be.
No.
Or maybe it exactly is. Taking you back.
Yeah, one party I will say was a little bit more of like a formal host in the way that, like, I sent out the invites, I arrived early, I'm fitted down, I'm glowing. It was at the Nines, it was very sexy, it was with Bumble. And it felt very like, oh, like class act, like, look at us. And then everyone did get wasted immediately after, though, but like we took great pics right before everyone got wasted.
I wouldn't know, I wasn't there.
Yeah, Hunter, someone checked in with Hunter, famously a heterosexual, to be like, you going? You were like, for what? For what?
Just moral support, just to like take photos, like be the Aretha Franklin of the party with like a camcorder, just walking around filming people.
Just kind of, learning, doing your anthropological work. And then the second party, in contrast, of course, was a party called Gush. I was emceeing a basketball game that they threw with all these queer, lesbian, real life TM basketball teams that turned into a basketball game, turned into a party, turned into a stripper performance. So by that time, that's probably where I got COVID, actually. There was so much sweat being exchanged in many different ways that's probably where I got it. But
wow.
So yeah, just pulls out a cigarette. It's been a shaking, trembling hand. It's been a long month. How was your weekend? How are you surviving?
That meme of Kamala Harris, and it's not really a meme, it's just like something she said once where she's like, do not come. Do not come. Like, that is me, but do not move. I moved this weekend, and I've been in my apartment for 4 years. I've been in my neighborhood for 7 years. We don't have to say what neighborhood that is because it's embarrassing. Go ahead and tell the people.
Williamsburg.
I hate that.
You're
That's
so
correct.
brave for that.
I know. Now I'm in Cobble Hill, like a grown up, and
Brag.
moving is kind of, I cannot tell you the stress of like how I have like 4 pairs of right shoes and I just can't find a left shoe. Like
Sure.
that's how crazy. Like why can I find all of Remy's toys but like none of my own concealer? Like that's how destabilizing physically and emotionally moving apartments is.
Yeah.
And then
I wouldn't wish moving on my worst enemy.
No,
Really,
I
in New
actually,
York,
that's
no.
not true. On my worst enemy, I would wish a move and I would wish European
would
Wax
wish
Center.
More and less on you would wish a ton of things on your worst enemy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I got that dog in me.
Sorry,
what can I
plural.
say? But then I like took a break from moving and started watching or went to see the Bikeriders, the new Austin Butler movie. And I thought this movie was going to be like Austin Butler and Tom Hardy fighting over Jodie Comer. No, it was Jodie Comer and Tom Hardy fighting over Austin Butler. And let me tell you, thank God. That's what it should have been. They have these like, it's about this motorcycle gang in the 60s in the Midwest. And it's like, there's not really a ton of story. It's just kind of like living their lives, kind of Hell's Angels adjacent, but like not really that intense. But Austin Butler is that boy. Like he looked into my eyes in the theater and I said, "You're giving a message and I'm receiving it." Like challenge accepted. Thank you so much.
You said, "I'm picking up what you're putting down," actually.
Yes, like vroom vroom.
Wait, did you like the movie or did you like Austin Butler?
I liked the movie was fine, but I thought Austin Butler, he is just so much more captivating than anyone else I've seen in a minute, which is really saying something. And like, what do we have to do to get Austin Butler in a Luca Guadagnino movie? Like, how do we link and build to make that happen?
I have to ask, do you think he's coming for our previously cemented #1 spot held by Glenn Powell for White Boy of the Week? Are they tussling for that or not yet?
Are they tussling for
early?
that? It's Austin's. It's Austin's to lose. Sorry, excuse me. Like, he came into that cinema and he said, "Let's make history right now." Like, when I tell you, he's doing stuff in this movie that I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know American men could still do that. Kind of like dirt under their nails, like wife beater tee, like looking at you. He just like shrugs and it like sent a full body chill down my spine. And this is the first scene, I swear to God. Like, no, I was like,
White boy of a week. That's a white man of a week. Let's talk about that.
No, that's my man.
That conversation up.
But I'm excited because Glenn Powell get back in the driver's seat.
I mean, I'm still holding my breath for Glenn Powell because I do think, like, again, when we talked about his range, I think he gave us the rom-com, the silly rom-com we needed with Netflix, and now he's about to get to work in a totally different way in Twisters. So I don't know. I mean, Austin Butler, you know, that's my king, that's my man, that's my Dune movie star, his movie, sorry. But I do think that Glenn Powell might get his look back. Watch this space. We shall see.
This week, we're talking about Nepo babies versus industry plants, the new season of The Bear, and we're taking a moment to put some respect on Normani's name. So let me just say this.
Let me say this.
Are you looking for a home for your worst opinions?
Are you a hater first and a lover of pop culture second? Consider this a glorified group chat, but we're not calling you out. No, we're calling you in. It's a safe space.
To talk shit.
But, of course, from Wondery, I'm Peyton Dix.
And I'm Hunter Harris.
And this is Let Me Say This.
Let me say this. Let me say this.
When I say yes, you say chef.
No.
Yes.
No.
Hunter.
Sorry, no.
Hunter.
No.
It's July 1st and you're already done being an ally. Interesting.
Ally to who? A white restaurateur?
Me.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
But when I say we are back, I mean The Bear is back. The Bear, if you missed it for some reason, I will say, huge breakout show, swept the Emmys, specifically for season 1, which is interesting because season 2 is really where it got a lot of more critical acclaim, a lot more chatter on Twitter, was much more talked about. And now we have season 3.
Yeah.
She says pausing.
Yeah.
She says with an ellipsis.
Yeah. Season 3, pregnant pause.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's hitting a little different, wouldn't you say?
Well, here's the thing. I have to be honest. I like The Bear. I really liked season 2, specifically the episodes that were mostly about Desi from Girls, that's his government name, and
Correct.
Marcus slash like Lionel Boyce from Odd Future. Those were like some of my favorite episodes of television released last year.
Yeah.
But I've never thought The Bear was like over the moon, over the top as good as people say, slash as much as it's been rewarded for performances, rightly so, but the show itself has never been my favorite. But yeah, it is kind of crazy that due to the strike and also like the WG SAG strikes, and then also when like voting occurred, all of these awards were for technically season 1 of The Bear, but the voting
Yeah.
began just after season 2 started airing. So I'm sure people thought they were voting for season 2, but actually they're voting for season 1. Neither here nor there. Here's the thing. I see why people don't like season 3. I don't think it's as bad as people say.
I'll hear that. I will say I have to come clean. I didn't finish so far. I think I'm like halfway through at the moment. The first episode I will say took me out a bit. I was like, not this fan cam, not this in Carmi's head fan cam. Kind of was like, let's wrap it up, queens. It was very jarring for me, especially having like I watched a little bit of the end of season 2 just to keep my brain fresh, to remind myself where we were, and then entering into season 3 with that, I will say took me out a bit.
When we pick up for season 3, it's kind of the day after season 2 ends. Carmi, the main character, has locked himself accidentally in a like giant
walk-in
freezer.
fridge.
That also sounds crazy if you've never seen The Bear, when those words come out of my mouth. Oh yeah, the main character locked himself in a freezer by mistake at like literally the pinnacle of the finale.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit cuckoo, but promise you it happens in a way that kind of makes sense. He kind of like is mean to his girlfriend, is mean to all of his friends working the restaurant with him, and then comes out of the fridge, doesn't really apologize, and then that's kind of where we pick back up. Yeah, the first episode of season 3, though, is really kind of what you don't expect. It turns into a flashback of like seeing Carmi's rise through all of these like really acclaimed restaurants and how he learned to be such a acclaimed and expert chef. And it's like, as Peyton said, it's like pretty slow.
I also feel like, wait, we have to go back for a second, just because I'm gonna want to get into this later, which is the Jeremy Allen White of it all. Jeremy Allen White is who plays Carmi. He was on Shameless. If you have taste, if you went there, if you understand why he's hot, if you can understand why he's hot, it means you watch Shameless.
You say Jeremy Allen White as black as possible. Jeremy Allen White, yeah.
As I should.
No, I love it.
'cause that's
I
my
love
man.
it. I love it.
Yes.
You said that's a black king right there. No. And then yes, and it co-stars Ayo Edebiri, who is really like, I'm calling her a Disney princess, because now that Hulu is on Disney Plus, she is a Disney princess now. The People's Princess.
The People's Princess. I'll give her that title. Absolutely. Happy to. Yeah, let's actually not give her Disney's princess. That feels like Disney adult coded.
No,
it
I
sounds
think it's
derogatory, but we mean it
sweet.
as a compliment.
Okay, fine. This is my thing about The Bear, though, which my main problem with season 3 is that when it builds upon season 2, it builds upon all the things that I did not like. Mainly, Carmi in season 2 had this girlfriend played by Molly Gordon. Her name is Claire. She's like a emergency room nurse. And after he kind of like had this big blow up at her in season 3, it's basically, not to spoil it, but it's him trying to figure out, do I really want to be in this relationship? I feel bad for what I did. How do I apologize? Can I bring myself to apologize? And I find that character Claire to be such like definition of manic pixie dream girl. Like, she only exists to say sweet things to him or to like reflect, like all of her monologues reflect Carmi's inner life and inner tensions in a way that is a little bit too obvious for me. And she doesn't get a lot of interiority or even really scenes outside of Carmi's perception of her in a way that I just find like really small and lacking, and kind of like makes me disappointed in a show that otherwise has really robust and vivid women characters like Sydney,
Tina,
like Tina, of course.
the true heartthrob of the show.
Yes, Tina, one of the other chefs who's like an older woman, like in her 40s, who we learn in this season, has come to the Bear like after getting fired and after getting laid off. And yeah, the Claire thing is just like, it feels like such a wrong note and an otherwise pretty well-rounded, well-written, like character-driven part of the show, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Claire to me, I don't need it all. But I will say something that I like about The Bear is I love the cultural zeitgeist around the show. I agree. I don't think it's like the best show ever made, but the cast is so incredible. I think it's brought a lot of new people into conversation, as we talked about with Ayo, with Marcus's character. What's his real name? Lionel Boyce.
Yeah.
And I think something that's really funny is, there's so much discourse around the shipping of Claire and Carmi, and then Carmi and Ayo. And I don't need that man around any women. I don't need him around any woman, especially a Black woman. I said, first of all, leave Claire alone. Let her figure it. She's just like a girl next door, you know what I mean? Handling her business, extremely manic pixie dream girl coded. It's like, oh, you exist to support this character.
Yeah.
But then it's like, do you want that relationship dynamic with Ayo? I don't think so. Let them be coworkers at best. I do not ship them. In fact, really who I want to be shipping, at first it was Ayo and Marcus, but actually upon further rewatch of season 2 and the Marcus episode specifically, I'm really shipping him and his boyfriend, Will Poulter, that fine ass pastry chef. Also, when did he get hot? I don't know. But maybe that's for another episode.
No, I totally agree. I think I'm not shipping Marcus and Sydney, who is Ayo's character, but I kind of low-key in season 1 was shipping Sydney and Desi, Sydney and Richie. Like, sorry, I like see some. There's like you have to like chestnut checkers like tap into what I'm saying. Like they were so opposed in season 1 in a way that like they kind of are making amends in season 2 and 3, where he's becoming more serious and she is like. I think making a little bit more space for Richie to be like a more serious part of the restaurant and establishment. But I'm like, they're kind of bonding. Like there are moments in this season where like you'll get to where I'm like, oh, like her heart is like softened to this man that was like really mean to her and bullying her, and he's also like becoming a lot more understanding, like growing as a person. And I am always gonna be like holding a little candle for them. But yeah, no, I don't understand shipping Carmi and Sydney. It like never makes sense to me, because especially in season 3, like they keep having the same problems over and over again. Like Carmi is so in his own head and so inside of his own, like honestly sometimes up his own asshole, that I'm like, how are you even a good friend to her right now? Like you're not being a good friend to Sydney, and that really makes me mad.
Let's work on that before we even talk a relationship status.
Oh,
actually.
right. Like you
I'm like,
need
have
to
y'all never had a friend before? Like this is actually just what friendship looks like. Like we don't all need to be fucking all the time. Let's relax.
Exactly.
I do think this is Ayo's moment. I do think this is her show. In so many scenes, in so many ways, we get to really see her expand her performance range, because as we know, like she started as a comedian, and like I remember being a little bit gooped and gagged that she was pivoting to a serious acting role in a way that she's just such a star, and it's so exciting to like watch her lean into that, not just in this show, but in other roles and also in real life.
No, I think she's, as Sydney, it's like a really good performance. And I feel like Sydney as a character gets a lot of flack for like being the more serious, kind of straight edge person in the kitchen. But especially in this new season, with Carmi kind of in his own head, in his own like, should I text my girlfriend back? Yes or no? Sydney really is like driving the show. She's really driving the plot and moving things forward in the kitchen in a way that is like frustrating for the series as a whole, but like makes me excited for Ayo as an actor. She's doing a lot of new and different things.
I love the range that we're seeing from her in this show, in Bottoms, iconic movie. If you haven't seen it, you're not gay enough or you're not an ally. And also in Inside Out too. Like we get to see this full expansive range of what she can do. I also really want to hold space for Ayo being fitted down. Her stylist, Daniel Goldberg, who dresses other celebrities like Greta Lee, Specifically, she dresses the girls that are like fitted down, the ones that are actually taking it on the red carpet. There is no better union than Loewe and Ayo Edebiri. Like the fits that I've seen, I am so grateful. I'm so thankful, especially for someone who's like very early in her career to be treated with like such high scale and such a high caliber of, you know, these collaborations, even with the Tom Brown of it all, which we see in this show as well.
No, I totally agree. And I also feel like it's kind of like, it reminds me of when Law Roach said about Zendaya that she had not worn like, I think Louis Vuitton, Chanel, or Dior on a red carpet ever. And like what a major deal it is that like such a cool cutting edge like Loewe fashion house is dressing like an actual up and coming like Black girl star. Not even up and coming. She has an Emmy. Like, she's here. The only thing I want to say, though, is that she did direct an episode of this season about Tina, and it's, like, one of the strongest episodes of this season. So, shout out.
Okay, I actually haven't gotten there yet. Not yet, but I will do my homework and finish this week. I am hoping, holding out hope for our sisters, for my man, Jeremy Allen White, which I'm going to say his full name again. I love when people have 3 names. But I will be watching, I will be tuning in, and I will be reporting back, and hopefully it's not as bad as everyone says.
It's not.
It's not. Okay. Cross my fingers. The reviews were, I'm crossing my fingers.
For years and years and years, Peyton, I don't think you're getting this. For years, we have been waiting for the debut album of Miss Normani. And now it's finally here. And honestly, I'm mad because I listened to this new Normani album, her first album called Dopamine, on the plane back from Palm Heights. And I was like, where was this album when we were on a hoe trip? Like, I really could have used it. This is an album for summer, for being outside, for laying out on the beach, for getting a tan, for doing like that summer makeup of just blush and eyebrows, lip gloss, nothing else. Like,
love.
Like that's what this album is for. Like, I'm picking up what she's putting down. Thank you, Normani. Now, why did it take 4 years?
Why did it take 4 years? And the other and maybe more important question is, why is the rollout so bad?
No,
for such a good album.
And I'm sad. Like, my sister deserves better. The fact that Motivation, which for all reasons, like because it is such a good song, should have been Song of the Summer 4 years ago, and they released it at the end of that summer. Don't ask me why. It makes no sense. That we have to wait so long between Motivation and Wild Side, the Cardi B song, which was pretty good. And then we have to wait 2 more years between Wild Side and Dopamine. And when we get Dopamine, it's like no noise. It's like no commotion.
Quiet
as a mouse, quiet as a church mouse. It makes me upset. Dopamine is actually very good. And why it took all this time to get here, no clue.
Okay, wait, I have to ask. Yeah, of course. What are your standout tracks?
Oh.
What are your hits? Tell me your hits.
Okay. Let me tell you what's gone platinum in my house.
I love that you got so excited about that. Like,
no. Okay. No, I am this excited. Candy Paint is that girl. Candy Paint is that girl. And this is the thing. Tell me why, I know why, industry politics, they released that damn Gunna song as the first single when actually it should have been Candy Paint. This is a song, I'm like, this is, I just want to dance when I hear that. Like, I just want to be in a club. I want to be sweating. I want to be like whipping my hair around. That's my favorite. I also love Still, All Yours, and Insomnia.
Candy Paint, I think, is like the highest beats per minute on this album.
It's a Brat Summer.
It's a Brat Summer, and she said, "Okay, let's go. Let's play and let's speed it up. Let's speed it up on the track." I do think I actually don't think it's a critique. It's just a truth. Is that this album, though so good, is a little bit more for dry humping than it is for fucking.
Say more about that. Tell me what you mean. Tell more.
And I will.
Tell me what
and
you
let me say this. Because when I saved my faves, which include All Yours as well, still also very good. I saw that in your list and I was like, oh, I should have put that one on. Lights On, and yes, Tantrums featuring James Blake, because James Blake will always go platinum in my house. I don't care. These were all songs that I added to like a make out playlist that I have never used actually, because they're slow enough. They're slow and they're sexy. And most of the songs I think are a little too slow, but very, very sexy. And I do want more songs for like fucking versus like, oh god, I almost called it the pregame. Like what you do before you have sex. It
Foreplay?
sounds like I've never had sex before.
Oh my gosh.
Foreplay. That's what I meant. The
Oh my
pregame.
gosh.
The pregame to
The
fucking.
pregame.
But I do want a little bit. I wanted a little bit more in terms of like something I can throw my hips to in the club and not just like privately in my bedroom.
Have you heard Candy Paint? Once again, sorry, she's that girl. Candy
It's
Paint is that
so
girl.
good,
Candy
but
Paint is
there's
like what
only,
you're
like,
asking for.
One, maybe two of her on the album.
What? I'm sorry. Whatever happened to range? Whatever happened to an album that can take you all day? All day, always.
I just said, sorry you hate yearning. Sorry you hate working for it.
Yeah, where was all this yearning, hating when, what was that movie you liked? Oh, All of Us Strangers. Yeah. You liked and I hated because it's not that good.
You love to take a look at them every chance you get.
And I will. This is the other thing though about the Normani album. For how long we waited, like the rollout has been nothing. It's just like, it's kind of like she just like dropped it on Spotify. Like someone just handed me a flash drive of it, I don't know, on the street. And I'm like, this is it? Like, that's how it feels. It feels like very surreptitiously, randomly passed around when I want this to be a moment for Normani because she really is a star. And this is an album that I'm like, it's not exactly the same way, but just go with me. It kind of feels like when Control dropped, the SZA album. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is an album that has so much dexterity and such legs that I want it to be as big of a moment as it can be. And for some reason, I'm like, why isn't this dropping when like Normani can go on SNL? Or like, why isn't she doing it on like a late night show? Or why isn't she doing it like, I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying though? It's like, it feels like there's nothing supporting it.
Where's the editorial? Where's the editorial? Like the one shoot that I saw that she did, the cover of Dazed, just looked like outtakes from the album art, which I will say I also don't really love the album art, but I'm like, why are we doing the same thing? I feel like there's moments to be made culturally outside of the album alone, even besides her, tweeting, as we saw the cake 5 years ago, tweeting like album coming out, and that person coming for her every single year being like, another year, where's the album? Like there was no real strategic lead up to this that really could have, even if it was just like on a very like internet-y level, and that could have helped catapult this and make this more of a moment for something that's genuinely good. And it is upsetting me and my homegirl. Because damn, if we can't listen to Normani, where the hell could we go?
Yeah, no. The tweet you're talking about, just to clarify, is that Normani tweeted album coming out, and then once a year for every year that the album never arrived, someone tweeted like, damn, where is it? Like, where is the album? And Normani had that printed, all those replies printed on a cake, which she like ate on release day, which was pretty good. Like that's the kind of stunt I want. I need like someone at RCA, I don't know, paying 17-year-olds to like come up with dances to these songs and seeding them on the internet. Like it works for every other artist. Where is Normani's moment of that? I need someone, I need like a viral dance troupe from LA making a dance. I don't know, like the Nasty Dance.
I think something we have to talk about though with Normani's lore is the fifth harmony of it all. And if you're not familiar, it was a girl group that she came from that was simply, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm like, who is a cigarette? Hold on, before we talk about Fifth Harmony. They were just beefing, really. They never really got along, but particularly there's been a lot of public critique around Camila Cabello, who we all know, who is one of the other leaders in the group, and Normani. Specifically, not just around the way that almost no one in the group got along, but the racist history of Camila Cabello, the way she like never really checked her fans for the racist comments they would say towards Normani, and also some problematic tweets in her past as well. And interestingly enough, of course, Camila right now is just released an album actually the same night as a presidential debate, which is like, girl,
literally a joke from the other two. Like that's so crazy. When Chase Rapes had an album come out and Wanda Sykes was like, we made a January 6th to cover up how bad the album was. No, it is like really weird and ironic that Camila Cabello and Normani are both having albums come out at almost the exact same moment. And yet Camila Cabello has been shoved down my throat by Complex, posting, I swear to God, 15 posts in a day about like aggravating stuff that she said in every single interview she's ever done. Whereas Normani, I have to actively look for updates about like anything about her, which is upsetting.
I'm gonna say something fucked up.
Oh
Which is, let's be
God.
clear, I do not like Camila Cabello. I think she reminds me of too many girls I went to high school with derogatory. Like, it is just like you have no true sense of self and you try on a bunch of different personalities until something feels like it fits and works. Something I will say, I listened to CXOXO, her new album.
I know where this is going and I don't like it.
Hunter literally texted me like being like, "Bitch, now I know you have COVID," because some of the songs go off. But hear me out. It's not because I think it's a good album and I think it's like particularly good music because of Camila. I think it's some of the songs are well produced and it could actually be anybody. And she's trying to be anybody. The song 20 somethings that is really SZA coded down and I love it is so wannabe brat, but I love it also kind of is a bop. So I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with that.
Let me tell you about this Camila Cabello album. This album literally sounds like you're in a like basement in Bushwick and they played Brat over and over again. And then some like industry executive is like, let me just sneak in this. Like they like play for every 4 Brat songs, one Camila Cabello song and like hope no one notices but like vibes along anyway. Like that's what it's giving to me. I can see the COVID in the room with you as you're praising it. So everyone listening, please like plug your nose so you don't get it. The other thing I need to say is that the only song I liked, even like halfway, was the Drake song. And that's because I'm light skinned and have oily skin. Like it's because like, listen.
Because you love to jog. You just love to jog.
I hate
so
to
you need
say
something
it.
to run
Yes,
to.
I will lift a little 15-pound weight in the mirror. Like I work out, so I listen to Drake.
But Camila's doing the PR work though. Like Camila's making all the very annoying. It's you know what my mom always told me. She said, the opposite of I was going through a breakup. She goes, the opposite of love, it isn't hate, it's indifference. And I feel like I hate Camila Cabello, and I feel so strong. Like I feel strongly about that, and I feel like you got to go one way or the other. Like make Normani, like either people need to hate you or they need to really fucking love you, and I need you to put the work in for one of the ways. And Camila's putting in the work. I mean, she's getting eaten alive, but she is putting in the work to be hated, and at least people are talking about her. And that's unfortunately how marketing works.
I'm kind of dead that you're using the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference to talk about Camila Cabello. Sorry, that's crazy. That is like out of this world.
No,
but
wait,
then
that was
again,
wild.
you like this album. The thing about the Drake song is that it's so clearly a song that could easily sub in Rihanna like from 10 years ago. And yet they were just like, whatever, like she's retired from music. Let's put on Camila Cabello, see what's going to happen. And
It's
then
throwaway tracks for better stars.
And then it immediately is followed up with the stupidest Drake interlude ever where he's talking about like, yeah, I looked at my credit card statements and like that proves how much I loved you. Like, oh my God, were you just on the bear? Like this level of emotional unavailability is a little bit shocking even for Drake. Like
you say Carmi, is that you?
No. This is Drake is like the President Trump, but for people who are like, how dare she make me pay my half of this? How dare she make me share? Like,
Yeah.
That's their king.
I don't know.
That's their
but
king.
The timing is really, I would say, upsetting and ironic that Camila and Normani are. I don't even know if they're going head to head because Normani's not charting. Like where
It's not fair to call them head to head when one of them is Normani and the other one is not as talented as Normani.
And thank you for bringing me to the red table because that is true and that is fair and that is right.
Thank you.
Normani's giving us actual music with a person who's has a sense of self versus Camila who tries on everything all the time. But I will say it's upsetting that like we can't even get Normani to is she charting? No, like where is she at?
No, Dopamine entered the chart at 91 on Billboard. I mean, not awful, but no, not great.
Not great. The numbers aren't great.
It's like, how can you even, it's not even a fair comparison when one album has 2 songs from one of the most successful artists of all time, Drake. Yeah. And the other is just a single gal going to the club, shaking ass, making music for her friends, me.
I do think though, maybe there's a Victoria Monet of this all. Like maybe Normani will eventually. She's had all these great, huge cultural moments. These really like the VMAs performance with Tiana Taylor made me gayer than I already am, of course. But maybe there's something there that's like, it's maybe the long game with Normani. Like maybe we're gonna really see the virality, the fruits of her labor later in her career. I don't know. What do you think is the fix to that? How do we get people to stream?
If you're listening to this
Dopamine.
podcast, stop listening right now and go listen to Normani. No, I don't know. But I think the real thing is that we need a video for some of these songs immediately because she is a pretty good visualist, I think. I think that could get her back in the third quarter. Peyton, did you see my tweet yesterday?
I didn't, but I know you're about to hurt my feelings, so go
This
ahead.
is the thing. I was scrolling on Twitter and I saw a video of Hoda and Kathy Lee, and they're playing music, and I think it like DMX. I can't remember what song, but Hoda was like so in it, and Kathy Lee was like, "What am I actually listening to?" And it's like, "Yeah, that's me when you play me some Gracie Abrams."
Is that what you tweeted, you bitch?
Yes, I did. I'll send it to you. We are in a golden age of nepo babies and industry plants, and they're kind of at each other's throats right now.
I know they're kind of
I don't know
neck, and
who's
some of them are doing both.
Exactly. Some of them are maximizing the joint slate of being both an industry plant and a nepo baby. So tell us about Gracie Abrams.
Okay, Gracie Abrams is a singer-songwriter, but her dad also conveniently is the director of Star Trek and Star Wars director J.J. Abrams. So yeah, she kind of comes from, I don't know, a lot of legacy, a lot of money. And now she has risen to fame via mostly TikTok and mostly me and girls that like journal earnestly and girls that like leaned into the clean girl aesthetic. Like that's who she's for. And unfortunately, there's a lot of them. And some of them are in the room with us right now.
For every 4 songs you play on Spotify, you federally have to hear one Gracie Abrams song, and I wish it were different. Like, this girl's been shoved down my throat almost as much as Joey King. What I'm saying is that Gracie Abrams is somehow charting on every chart across the world right now. She was opening for Taylor Swift or did a song with Taylor Swift or something with Taylor Swift. And I'm like, hold on. I don't even know who this girl is. And when I hear her music, I'm like, it's just not Olivia Rodrigo. Like, it's so confusing that I both always hear her, but it's also quiet for her.
So Taylor Swift, it's an easy +1 for Taylor Swift because she said, oh, you respect why you were invited to the section, aka you don't try to outsing me.
Can she outsing her? Which I know that is a low bar. But what I do think, though, reminds me of what Written by Hannah said, that one tweet that like, no, of course Taylor Swift is not threatened by Gracie Abrams because Gracie Abrams is a victim of colorism, i.e. being a brunette. And Taylor Swift is blonde. This is the thing, though. Gracie Abrams is both a nepo baby and I would say an industry plant because I'm not seeing the talent or hearing it. But nepo babies can be cool, but it's like they can also be like the most uncool, unchill people in the world.
Well, how would you describe an industry plant? Like, let's make sure we make the difference clear here.
Okay, an industry plant is someone who has no actual like distinct origin story, someone who kind of comes from nowhere, arrives fully formed with a sound that is entirely and extremely very commercial and very commercially viable. And I think an industry plant kind of overnight just has like hit after hit.
Yep.
Without a lot of like organic, like, oh my gosh, did you know her when level of success. And then a nepo baby obviously is someone who either like directly has a famous last name or just has like famous and talented and successful parents. But like, you know, like I don't know who's a big, like Romy Mars, for example, the daughter of Sofia Coppola and whatever that guy from Phoenix's name is. Now that is a nepo baby who could never be an industry plant because she's simply too cool. That's my sister and I'm standing by her.
Is that your favorite nepo baby?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? The auteur behind the TikTok that's like make a vodka sauce pasta with me because I got grounded for trying to charter a private jet with my next credit card so I could see my camp friend. Yes, I'm off book.
Yeah. You said time to get to work. Time to start standing, actually.
Her grandfather is the director. I don't know if you know. He directed The Godfather. Ever heard of it?
Oh, have you heard of it? I don't know if you heard of it. But the industry plant thing is also so funny because it's almost everyone I think that has commercial success gets accused of it. Like I do think an industry plant is someone that just is a proponent of capitalism. Like it's
Mhm.
just like, oh, let's make money off of you. You're just actually here so we can like get a little check, a little coin.
Yeah.
And that's why Gracie Abrams is famously not beating those allegations. You're coming for money, you just want to make more money and some TikToks. But then there's someone like a Chappell Roan who I feel like is dodging these allegations left and right. But some of us remember her old TikTok. She had a standing fan in her room. That's not an industry plant.
A
She didn't have
standing
AC. Like
fan.
that's not an industry plant.
Literally, oh my God. I mean, listen, Azealia Banks is, I always say, either radically right or radically wrong. She only has two modes, but she did have a very
Sure.
good kind of explainer about how Lorde is an industry plant because men in music decided that Taylor Swift was too powerful for re-recording her masters and like,
Yeah.
really advocating for artists generally with
Yeah.
the like taking your music off of what was it, Spotify.
Yeah.
That they found an industry plant Lorde to kind of take her down. But like that's I don't know that I believe that necessarily, but like that's a good example of how an industry plant is supposed to grow.
Supposed to grow. Yeah, that's supposed to be what the roots are.
Yeah,
I mean, we have
yeah.
to shout out our favorite industry plant, obviously.
Who?
3, 2, 1. Her.
Her is
Her.
I can
Her.
count with one hand the number of truly people who ride for her. And
It's my mom.
it's your mom. It's like one other girl I know. And like,
It's someone else's
and
mom.
tell me why she's everywhere at once. Why she was on D'Angelo's Verses. Why she is at every award show singing a song.
Every award show.
It's like you simply have a microphone and I don't know, a sound guy and hers already like on her way. Like
Yeah,
she
yeah,
will
yeah.
show up on time and like
Is
do
on a soundtrack
a
for
good
every major
job.
movie. It's just it's too much and it's too fast and it's not even interesting enough for me to care about, which is upsetting. Like at least be good. Be a good industry plant.
I do want to say, let me raise you that. I saw Sweetie tweeting maybe a few days ago about how she is not a nepo baby. Sweetie's mom was like kind of a video vixen. Is that a respectful term for women who danced in music videos in the 90s, early 2000s?
I don't know, but let's say that
Well, I
we
say it with respect. Justin
Yeah.
Bieber is a video vixen, if you have seen him in music videos, and that one Drake video. Anyway.
I say that.
Neither here nor there. But yeah, so Sweetie's mom was kind of in the industry. Her cousin is obviously Gabrielle Union. And she was saying, like, I wasn't a nepo baby because I struggled a lot. And Sweetie got started with rapping in her car and like posting just direct to camera things like pre-TikTok. And yeah, she's not a nepo baby or an industry plant because her career would be like low-key being managed a lot better than it is right now. So yeah,
she's
she's
with Crocs and Ranch
she's beating the allegations
every other week. I think we need to hold space for our favorite nepo babies and go ahead and name them. Even though, be careful.
Okay,
Be
yes.
careful what you say next.
Number one, who we were talking about at the top of this show, Austin Butler. His dad, you might not know this, but his dad is Denzel Washington because, and follow me on this rabbit hole right now, Austin Butler got cast in Elvis because he did a play with Denzel Washington a while ago, and Denzel was so impressed. Denzel told Baz Luhrmann, that's an actor, you should hire him, and that jumpstarted his whole career as an adult. And so I'm naming it and claiming it. Austin Butler, his birth daddy is Denzel. That's nepo baby.
I see it.
I also listen Laura Dern. It's like she really is like mother. And then Blue Ivy, specifically Blue Ivy managing Beyonce and saying, don't cut Diva from the Renaissance tour set list. That's a nepo baby who knows what she's there for.
She said, grow up for once. I have to shout out a few of my favorite. Well, I need to make something clear. It's like what I think makes a good nepo baby is someone who is fine acknowledging that they're a nepo baby. The problem with nepo babies is so many people want to pretend that they didn't have any sense of privilege and pretend that it helped them in no sense of the world. Specifically, Jamie Lee Curtis. I almost said Yo Play, but she did a different yogurt
Activia
activist Jamie Lee Curtis over here dying on a hill about how nepo babies are just actually facing way too much criticism. I mean, there was also that, I think it was Vulture who did the article about nepo babies with that big, or New York Magazine.
Yes, the New York Magazine package about Nep. She has
Yes.
her mother's face and agent.
Yes, perfect. So good, so nasty. But even, a bad response to Nepo baby accusations is not even being accused of it. And then Hailey Bieber wearing a t-shirt that says Nepo baby on it. You weren't even in the conversation. We weren't even talking about
No,
you.
but let me stop you right there. I don't consider Hailey Bieber a Nepo baby because she's made that family. All right?
Oh.
The Baldwins, she made the Baldwin name.
She said, I did the work. You're Nepo adjacent to me.
She said, everyone is eating off of my dollars, okay?
Yeah. That's why I love someone like Amaya Hawk, who's like, I'm owning being a Nepo baby. I'm fine. And I love to take advantage, even though I might be a little bit mid. That's how I would move.
If you could be a Nepo baby or an industry plant, what would you be? Oh, wait.
Both.
Don't answer that. You're already a Nepo baby because you grew up in LA. People who grew up in LA, you're Nepo babies. You're the Nepo babies of everyone else. Case closed. Period.
You might have thought I froze, but really I was just gagged. Well, that's it for this week. As usual, we're too online, so you don't have to be.
I am an aspiring industry plant.
You are, actually. And Ayo Hive, we stay winning.
And Normani Hive, we are not right now, but we will be back in the third quarter. Everyone, keep your streams up.
Keep your streams up. Stay on your Zoom.
Let me say